How do you get yourself unstuck in life? We all have it. We come to those places and times when it just feels like nothing's happening. Nothing's going the way we want it to. We're just stuck. It's like, what is it? I tried. Nothing's happening. Nothing works. What is going on? I don't know about you, but I've that has happened so many times in my life. And as you try all these different things, nothing seems to satisfy. Nothing seems to get you what it is that you want. So when I ask people, if we start off with that question, well, what do you want? A lot of times the response is, I don't know. Or what they want is something on the outside. Well, I want to lose 10 pounds. Um, I want a stronger cash flow. I want more clients. Um, I want to be happy. Um, I want the man of my dreams. I want the woman of my dreams. You know, I want the I want the ideal job. And a lot of times when if we entertain that, we start digging in on it, folks aren't always clear about, well, what would that actually look like? What does that what would that feel like? And the words come, oh, wonderful, this, that. But when you really start to dig in and explore it, you realize people don't have a clear vision for what they want. Now, interesting enough, the Bible says, without a vision, the people perish. And they make it into a big thing. I think it's this. I think that we're just not clear. I think we don't have a clear vision. And that's why we perish. That's why we stay stuck. That's why we're like, it feels like life is on hold. And then how do we move off that? How do we get past that? And so that's what I want to talk to you today about. So stay tuned. I've got some kind of summary suggestions at the end of the video. But the first thing in answering that question is be sure that what it is that you're saying you want is what you want, not the expectations of society, not the expectations of your parents or your friends, but it's genuinely heartfelt for you. This is what you want, that you're making this choice. And the second thing is ask yourself, what do I get from this? What do I what's my expectation? If I actually had this, what would it give me? What would it do for me? And when I'm asking that question of a client, I'm looking to see, what's the feeling? What's the emotional expectation behind it? How do you think you'll feel when you have that? When you identify, that's really what I want. What will that give you emotionally? And why do we ask that? Because the feelings you can have right now. Feelings are not dependent on what you have or what you're doing. It's an inside emotional reality. You can choose that. And I would say, look really seriously at that. Make that choice now. Just go for it. Grab for it. You don't need like the middleman of the thing to make you happy. Well, if I had this, then I'd be happy. If I had this, then I'd feel satisfaction. If I had this. No, those feelings you can have right away. So the quick shortcut to it is feel what you want to feel, make a decision and choice to do that. Now, if you're stuck there, make some comments because there's some ways to get release and relief from that and get past that. So take a look at that. And then use your imagination. Einstein said that imagination is much better than knowledge. That imagine being, doing, having that. And then what would it feel like? What would your life look like? Can you imagine having that? It's probably the fastest, shortest, quickest way to get there. But make sure that your expectations of what you want are yours, not somebody else's. one of my clients was telling me, we were talking about this, and I said, "What do you want?" And she said, "Oh, I don't, you know." She had some ideas, but then kind of digging deeper. So, well, what do you really want? And she paused for a moment. She said, "Well, my parents want me to be married and to have 2 children." Okay, do you want that? No. My boyfriend wants me to work a little bit less and make sure I have the weekends free so that we can do stuff together. I said, "Is that what you want?" She said, "Well, interestingly enough, we already have that. I have cut back at work and we are doing more things in the weekend, but he hasn't noticed it." And I said, "Well, you might want to point that out to him." I said, "But you're still not answering. What do you want? Wave the magic wand. What do you really want?" She said, I'd really like, I think I'd like to be free of the job that I have. I'd like to earn money, sort of really helping people um, emotionally handle their lives differently than what I do." She said, which I know she's a financial person and does financial planning. She says, but people really have difficulty with money in general, and I have some good ideas for helping them. Maybe you need to be a financial coach. Today she is, by the way. But her real desire was she'd like to create a space where animals that are homeless or have been abandoned in some way, or for some reason somebody can't take care of them anymore, that she has a place where those animals can go and they're fed and housed and they have a place to play and it's safe and they can live out their life that way. She just really has a heart for that. And I'm happy to say she's doing that today. She found that. So it's being clear and having the courage and the boldness to seek it, to go for it, that then opens the universe, if you will, opens the possibilities for it happening, as opposed to, well, I need this in order to be happy. I need this. That neediness, not so good. It almost pushes away your dreams and your desires. It keeps us, those of us who are releasing weight, it keeps us hungry. And to be able to let that go, the weight starts to come off again. You can too. I haven't told you my weight loss story, but some of you know it because you know, we've talked about it in other places. Sometime I'll do a video on it here sometime. But it's when it stops being the need and you can just release it, that things begin to happen in your life. It's really being able to visualize past and through where you are now to where you want to go. You don't always have to know how to do it. It's like it's sort of more the universe's job to help and guide us through our intuition. But it's identifying and get clarity around what you want and a little bit of what will that give you? What are you looking for? If you get that, then what? And I'm dollars to donuts on this one. It has to do with an emotional feeling in you. It's how it's going to make you feel. So what I would suggest is don't delay, don't put off the feeling. You can have it right now. That's something totally inside of you. How do I know that? Because whatever it is that you think you want, the physical thing, the outside thing, is there's people who have that and don't have the feeling that you want to feel. Like, oh, if I had money, I could be happy. Really? Because I know a lot of people who have money and they are not happy. So money, that old saying, you know, da da da, but it makes life easier. It does. It has power to it. There's something that's money is good, but as a source of happiness, no, the source of happiness comes from within. So it's important as we go through these kind of thinking processes is to identify what are the feelings that you're seeking, have them now. And then when you have that, when you have the release, you have the relief, you have the relaxation, you have the security, you have the safety, you have the peace, the joy, the love, the hope. It then opens up in you the possibility to receive. It creates space in your life to receive what it is that you're desiring. And yes, there's sometimes we have to actually physically make room for it. It's like, well, I've had clients and I've asked them, I said, well, if you had it, do you have room for that? How many cars do you have in your garage now? If you got your new luxury car, where would you put it? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. So imagination is powerful. And the other thing I would say, you got a couple more thoughts about this. Don't tell everybody. There's a lot of naysayers out there. I mean, you have the ones in your own head that are going to jump up. The minute you start to identify what you want, that stuff in your head that keeps you stuck, that's all going to jump up and like attack you and give you all kinds of reasons why it can't and it won't. And da, 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 da. You have enough mental struggle, and on here we've talked about that, and we'll continue to talk about it. What can you do about that? So don't tell folks until you have it, and you say, yeah, it's happening. I'm getting a new job or whatever it is. But keep some of this stuff to yourself. Like my client, don't tell your parents these dreams. They have hopes, expectations. Boyfriend hopes, expectations. She's still with the same guy, and he's happier than ever because they're doing something that she likes and enjoys, and they can do it together. And he's now enjoying the process. So on some of those weekends that he would imagine himself off fishing or doing something with her, now they're doing that together, and it just feels like they're at home with each other. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. All those things happen. I was reading the other day a biography about, yeah, a biography around the tennis player Naomi Osaka. And if you don't know her story, she was a young upcoming tennis player, and she's the person who beat Serena Williams in the U.S. Open back, I don't know, 2018, I think. And I just learned in this article I was reading about her that she used this process of imagining and seeing herself win the US Open. And particularly, it's specifically beating Serena Williams, who was dominant champion and if not the greatest, at least one of the greatest all-time people to play the game of tennis. What makes it unusual is this woman, Naomi, is from Japan. And in the history of tennis, no Japanese woman has ever won a Grand Slam tournament. So, fortunately, she didn't tell it to a lot of people because there'd be a lot of folks that say, well, that's a great dream, but it can't become reality because, and start to give her reasons. And she admits, she said, I had enough reasons in my own head telling me I'm overthinking, I'm overreaching. Just be a good tennis player. You don't have to be a world champion at a Grand Slam tournament. You can play world class tennis. But she kept visualizing the possibilities. She kept seeing herself doing it over and over and over again. She used the power of her mind and imagination. And then she went into the feelings of how will this make me feel when I achieve and accomplish this? That's what we're really talking about. How do you get unstuck? That's how you do it. First, really identify what you want, identify what it gives you. What are the feelings? What are the emotions behind it? Sit with those emotions and feelings, and then see yourself in your mind's eye first. Use the Einstein technique, visualize it first. How did he know time was relative? Because he rode on the edge, he says, of a of a light beam at the speed of light. And he imagined what he would be seeing. And he realized that, like we notice in movies where the spokes of the wheels go backwards when the stagecoach is going forward, he put it all together, and then, because of his math genius, understood the math formula that proves that it's all relative. It's like, ah, okay, cool. And then the relationship between matter and time, blah, blah, blah. Do I know all that stuff? No, I don't get it. But he does. So when you visualize, it's like I don't have to know all the hows and do's, and the world kind of gathers around you and supports you in it. The universe gathers around, and that energy that Einstein's describing for us, that energy comes in and finds a way and draws it to you. And the next thing you know, you're beating Serena Williams. Now, the audience and the tennis fans in 2018 when she won were not happy about what was happening. And they booed her. And Serena had her own kind of little meltdowns. I don't know if you remember it. She had her own meltdowns in that match. But at the end, she said to the audience, you know, we all have struggles. We all have things that we're dealing with. She played amazing tennis. Stop the booing. We need to say that to our gremlins. We need to say that to our negative things in our head that are all there to try to keep us stuck in the same. Stop it. Let us follow the dreams. Find that energy to go forward. I know you can. Tell us of your successes. Write them in the comments below. Let's share it, because then it gives other people inspiration and ideas of what can happen and what's possible. But do not delay your happiness. Do not delay the joy. Do not delay the peace. Do not delay the serenity that you're expecting that thing or that condition or that circumstance to bring you. No, all that stuff, those feelings are inside, and you can have them right now. I promise you. Slowly move into it. Breathe your way into it. Imagine your way into it. Subscribe and like and share the video with folks who need it. Thank you. From my heart to yours. And a few weeks from now, I'm going to do an actual course on this. We're going to go through the details of how do you do that? Now, how do you do that, Tom? And we're going to answer the questions when your gremlins and your negativity comes up. How do you get around it? How do you get through it? How do you make it happen? How do you change your life? See you there. Make it a great day. Namaste. Thank you.